Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and earlier today I interviewed Alex Jones on a plethora of issues, including the global police state and, of course, transhumanism. He was a bit tuckered out, but by the end of the interview, he got fired up again when I decided to say, hey, what about Trump? When he pressed me on issues that we may disagree on. And boy, did Jones get fired up for those last 10 minutes and gave us his best Donald Trump impersonation. So if you want to see the full thing outside of this small clip, please go over to Rockfin, make a free account, follow me there. If you want to become a premium subscriber, that obviously helps. But they've also opened the platform up for anybody to view free material. So make sure to scoot over to Rockfin so you can see what you can't see and hear on this platform. All right, well, I appreciate you spending this time, Alex, and next time we're going to go over some more clips. Listen, brother, I love what you're doing, man. You know the deal. I may not agree with you all the time, but I think that independent media, independent voices are extremely important. I saw you build things from the ground up, from you being
Well, just because I don't like Hitler, it's okay that you like Hitler.
I don't think it's that far, buddy. But, I mean, listen,
it's a joke.
Sure, I know.
It's a joke. Hey,
obviously.
You're not on YouTube anymore. You don't have to disagree with me.
Well, again, Jones, you're funny.
We can do a controversial interview when I'm not totally exhausted. Here's what happened. I was up till 3:30 in the morning researching last night. I'm totally exhausted, and I really want to do a show with you. Mm-hmm. So this is a good prelude, and I will come back with you in the next few weeks. All right?
Listen, I love you, Jones, and we're gonna do it again. I'm gonna go even harder on you. You know, we should do something pre 9/11.
I'm so scared you're going to go hard on me. I just can't handle it.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. And we're going to get you on Rockfin.
I'm so scared of this interview.
Listen. I mean, listen.
Go ahead and go hard on me now. I'm afraid.
Listen, if you want to go into topics that we do disagree on, I'd love to do that too, but I want to do the transhumanist stuff because that's important, man. You've been around for 20 plus years talking about these things.
What are the topics we disagree on? Just tell me those.
Well, I mean, obviously, I was no fan of Bill Barr as everything was going on. I think that a lot of the Trump stuff, in the sense of who he put in there, was bad. I think that, obviously when he was talking about getting out of Syria and then 2 weeks later you have that doom attack. I know you called that out, but Trump didn't.
Was against that. I didn't. Trump had a bunch of problems.
I agree.
He was just better than Biden.
I agree there. You should see how hard I went on Biden at the end. Listen, I voted for Trump twice.
But this idea, this idea that I got persecuted for supporting Trump.
I agree.
I got nothing but lawsuits in hell.
Alex,
it wasn't like people were like, oh, he supports Trump because he's getting money. I mean, you didn't say that, but other people I know did.
I get it.
I was like getting golden checks from Trump. All I got was hell supporting Trump because at least the globalists were pissed off at him. But Trump's gone now. We got Biden.
Quite frankly, well, I don't even want to get into all that because we could talk for all day.
Okay, so let's move on.
Yes.
What's the other thing I do that's bad?
Well, no, I'm not saying you're doing anything bad. But for instance, I don't want Trump in 2024. I think he failed at the very end too. Assange is still in jail. We have this document, for instance, the counter intel defense 2020 to 2022. This was under the Trump administration. And everybody ignored it, and I think it was really important because it literally says, and this is what we're talking about, criminalizing everybody, okay? Putting you in the same sentence as other state adversaries such as Cuba, Iran, North Korea, non-state actors such as Lebanese Hezbollah, ISIS, and Al-Qaeda, here it goes, as well as transnational criminal organizations, ideologically motivated entities such as hacktivists, leaktivists, and public disclosure organizations. All right? That's criminalizing any journalist right there, making them a terrorist.
Listen, that's whistleblowers, everything. Here's my deal. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to fetishize this. Mm-hmm. Trump is gone. Mm-hmm. Trump didn't get Assange out of jail. Trump's bad for saying, if you've got it, Assange, release it. I said Trump was terrible. But Trump didn't arrest hundreds of whistleblowers.
You're right.
And put hundreds of journalists in prison. So all I'm saying is the fetishizing, like to prove we're not for Trump, to always go back. Trump's gone. He's not there. I was critical of all of that stuff. And if you think Trump wrote all that stuff he did, he didn't even see 90% of it. No. He would sign executive orders, they ignore it. No. Trump was a populist. He had problems. He didn't understand everything. They shut him down. He's gone now. He's not going to be president in 3 years.
I hope not.
Just like I told the Q people, no, we need to worry about the current tyranny. And I mean, here's an example. We had another talk show host work here, and he would attack Trump all the time, and I was fine with it. And then he said that I was saying he couldn't talk about Trump. I never said that. That wasn't true. So it meant nothing to me for people to bash Trump. And so the idea that, like, I'm this Trump loyalist, and that's the media doing all of that. I mean, I've known Tucker Carlson for 10 years. Okay, I'm not going to give the inside baseball, but this new book came out where Tucker wouldn't take Trump's calls and told him he's an idiot. I mean, I've seen that, okay? So I'm actually on the other end where big deal Trump calls, big deal. Because Trump literally was in his own world asking people, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? He really was the president. He wasn't a lightweight at the same time. He just was not, it was not what you think it is. So I've already been up at the top of the mountain giving Trump stories and seeing it on the news the next day. So the idea that, like, I'm in this Trump orbit and I'm trying to be buddies with Trump and all this, I've seen Trump call my phone number, haven't even answered it. And that's not about a pissing, no, it's not about a pissing contest. It's the same with Tucker Carlson. There's nothing with Trump but problems because he'd bring his enemies in around him and didn't have a gauge of who was his friend and who wasn't. So don't worry, he's gone. Dustbin to history. You got Joe Biden. Let's talk about Joe Biden.
Again, Alex, I pushed hard for Trump at the end, especially when I thought, first of all, I didn't think they would actually have Biden as the legitimate candidate. I couldn't see that while I was watching the primaries. Again, I don't get everything right. I don't think any of us do. And I'm certainly not persecuting for that. But I guess because I got you fired up and I got you, looks like I got another 5-10 minutes out of you. What would you like to see? Who would you like to see run? Now, before we even get there, don't you think the big thing that we have to work on and reform is the same thing we were talking about back in like 2004, getting the digital machines out first? We saw what the disaster was here, right?
Yeah, I want the technocracy gone. I don't want the NSA spying on me. I want to arrest some of these globalists like Fauci and Clapper and Brennan. This would all stop. And so I see Trump as a distraction. In fact, I almost think they suckered us and let Trump get in. I think Trump got elected. But they got Trump in knowing they could demonize him and energize the left to violate the Bill of Rights and Constitution. And so I just want to move past Trump. I'm done with Trump. I didn't get paid money to support Trump. I got persecuted for Trump. I think he meant well as a populist. I like President Trump overall. But there was no inside baseball, no. And it kind of gets a little passe when you talk to the president 50 times and Tucker Carlson talks to him every day and you can't get him to even listen to you. It's just, I've been to the top of the mountain, brother, and there ain't nothing there. The power is with the people. The power is with the people. And the whole media thought, well, Jones is this crazy, outspoken, eccentric. Let's demonize Trump, claiming Jones is Trump's brain. None of that was true. And so everybody's like, oh, you're with that Trump guy. You're over there like whatever. And I was like, no, I'm not, but I'm not against Trump. It's all delusion. It's all leftists going, hey, Alex Jones is even more unlikable with the left than Trump. Let's make Trump Alex Jones's wife or husband. So none of that was true. None of it was going on. You have a conversation with Trump. It's like this. What'd you think of what I did with this big story? You think that tax cut's good? You like it? I'm like, I think you ought to denounce McCain is working with Al-Qaeda. And well, Alex, let me say hi to your wife. How's your wife doing? Oh, your husband's so great. Oh, he's so good. We need more men like him in America. Back to me. Hi, Mr. President. Really appreciate you. Hey, how about you just come out, and abolish Federal Reserve? Well, I work with them. I try to. You're talking to a brick wall.
So what?
All
right.
See?
So Alex, then I got to ask you, and I'm glad that I got the fire. What is? Obviously, he was an outsider in the sense that he wasn't a politician. He talked about it. He was like a media personality. He had all that. We don't have a lot of politicians, obviously, that we can entrust. Rand Paul's the only guy that's got fire out there right now. Obviously,
yeah, that's why they didn't like Trump, is he tried to be president. He even tried to bring them in. He tried to bring in the establishment and say, would it be better if we actually helped everybody? They're like, no, we don't want that. So, Trump's really actually a good guy. It's just that he's very almost autistic, where you're not. That's why he made the establishment so mad. They couldn't convince him of anything. Tucker Carlson couldn't convince him. I couldn't convince him. Only Trump knows what's going on in Trump's brain. And it was never about his money. He was never trying to get him stuff. He lost half his wealth doing it. The guy's a great guy, but it's like talking to an autistic person. They ain't listening, man.
So then what is it?
Listening.
Who is
so
it?
So the idea that I was involved in some inside baseball with Trump and that, Jones is pro-Trump because he's getting, he's in the orbit of Trump. It didn't exist. Zero support from Trump on censorship, anything else, and nothing but attacks.
Well, they ended up censoring the president of the United States at that level, and you did warn him beforehand, and that is an incredible feat. And again, it's incredible it happened in this country. I think it's a precursor to what's to come. But again, Alex, I'll ask you again, who, because I don't want to put my eggs in a basket of a person, but let's say that we get...
the Easter Bunny.
Well, I don't believe in the Easter Bunny, you know this. Say we get the kind of reform where we, again, have polling, we get these online ballots out of there, we get the machines out of there, we don't have to wait months and months and months for audits to be demonized by the media. Who is somebody we can put in there that is going to fight for us?
I think Rand Paul's a great guy. I think you mentioned him. I like Rand Paul. Doesn't mean I'm in secret meetings with Rand Paul. Doesn't mean I'm taking orders from Rand Paul. Doesn't mean if Rand Paul does something we don't like that I'm with him. Because, he all pushes the vaccine. Because he's a doctor. This is not the regular vaccine. So, but overall, I like Rand Paul. All right, Burns. All right. I'll talk to you when I get back in a week and a half. And I just wish you hadn't sold out to Trump.
I never said that to you. You're the one that said I as soon as I was going hard, you made some jokes and we got in a little bit. Listen, I love the energy, Alex. I appreciate it, brother. And I'm going to hold you to coming back on after your vacation, okay? We'll get you on Rock. All right?
Infowars.com, babyburmas.com.
All right. Later, Alex. Thank you, man.
All right. See you, buddy.
All right. So that's Alex Jones, everybody. Obviously, I wanted him on for at least a full hour. We barely got him for a little over 30 until I got him fired up about Trump. We're going to get him back on. Hopefully, we're going to get him on Rockfin. I don't know how that big conversation went, but I put him in touch with the guys, and I'm going to hit them up after this, I'm sure. Jaime, you're probably watching. But, yeah, let's get them on there. I want to read through some of the tips here on this interview here. So many people tipping out. Let's see. This one's from the Fauci video. By the way, if you're not sharing these links, share the links. Let's get Rockfin bigger, 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 bigger. Let's see. Snap, I think he broke. He's talking about Fauci. Can you give your take on what's happening in Australia? It's worse than over here. Federal government telling state government to mandate shots. Our PM ScoMo pointed out the media. That's how we do things here. I wonder how long that attitude will last. Okay. Thank you. I love Alex Jones, but your reasonable and documented backup gives you credibility. Greg Palast, the Martins, Aaron Mate, Robert Kennedy, Caitlin Johnson, Whitney Webb are also great. Joe Rogan is better informed than he pretends, but he does well at present. A long thought take. Okay. Gardy Lou, thank you. Mary in real life, nothing would make me happier than see Fauci fully exposed. I hear that. Love the work, everybody. Somebody please tell me what music is during the intro. Gotta know. I'm not sure. Is that must be from the Union of the Unwanted. Let's see. A little Tipsky and Hutch. LOL. Thank you, Eva. We love you, Jason. Cannot wait for the AJ interview. Hopefully you just enjoyed it. I really hope you did. Elijah Kramer. Jason, I'm a huge fan and appreciate all you do, but also wanted to thank Mr. Jones for his work and being a catalyst in my journey for speaking the truth the last 20 years. A shout out from Mr. Jones would make my year. Cheers, fella. Jenny, keep doing what you do, Jason. I love Rockfin so far because it gives creators financial and creative freedom. Exactly. And let's see, David Westphal. Let's see, he says, he just gave the tip. Thank you, guys. So there it is. I wanted Jones for the full hour. We got like 30 minutes. We did it as big as we could. We're going to get him back on. I love you guys. You know the deal. Thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. I'll probably put Alex Jones, the Trump section, over on YouTube later today and bring people to the full interview here. You guys know the links are down below, right? Where you can also follow me on YouTube. You can watch all the documentary films for free, several of which Jones actually produced: Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. And, of course, Rockfin, and Rockfin. Love you. See you on the flip.